Evan Hale never expected anything extraordinary from his life. He was a quiet human engineer, a man who preferred tools over conversations and circuits over ceremonies. His daily routine on the research station orbiting the red glow planet Virath was simple. Wake early, drink tasteless station coffee, fix malfunctioning panels, check reactor readings, and try not to get in the way of officers who were always in a rush. Evan had lived this routine for 3 years. Nothing exciting ever happened. Nothing dramatic ever touched him. He liked it that way. But on the morning the Virathi royal ship arrived, the entire station changed. Evan felt the tension even before he stepped into the hall. Officers stood straighter, scientists whispered nervously, and guards checked their uniforms again and again. The Virathi Empire was powerful, elegant, and extremely private. Even the bravest humans felt a strange chill when the name was mentioned. Their people were pale, tall, and silent. They fed on star-charged plasma instead of food, and their glowing eyes made some humans call them vampire-like, though no one dared say it to their faces. Evan had never met one. He didn't expect today to be any different. He assumed he would stand in the back like always, unnoticed, unimportant. The hall lights dimmed to welcome the royal vessel. The doors opened with a low hum as the Virathi delegation entered, their steps soundless against the polished floor. Every human bowed slightly, including Evan, even though he wasn't sure how deep he was supposed to go. Then she arrived. Princess Sereth Virathi stepped forward, tall and calm, her skin glowing faintly like moonlight. Her long silver hair moved with a gentle wave, though there was no wind. She wore a robe that shifted colors slowly, as if made from living light. Her eyes were silver like the surface of a calm sea, but there was something deep inside them, strength mixed with quiet sadness. No one in the hall dared speak. Even the admirals who commanded fleets remained silent. The princess walked slowly, observing everything with careful attention. She looked at the officers first, then the scientists, then the guards. Her expression did not change. She seemed to be searching for something but did not show emotion. Evan felt invisible, which was normal for him. He stood near the wall, holding a toolkit he had forgotten to put away. He tried not to drop it. He didn't want to attract any attention, especially not from royalty. But then the princess stopped walking. Her head turned, her silver eyes locked directly onto him. Evan froze, confused. Maybe she was looking past him. Maybe someone important stood behind him. But no, she continued to stare. The hall went so silent that Evan could hear his own heartbeat. Every officer turned their head toward him, shocked that the princess's gaze stayed fixed on an ordinary engineer. Then she raised her hand and pointed at him. The gesture was smooth, confident, and absolute. "I want him as my husband." The words echoed across the hall like a thunderbolt. People actually gasped out loud. A scientist dropped her data pad. One of the guards coughed and then tried to hide his panic. The admirals exchanged stunned looks. Evan stood still, unsure if he had heard correctly. His brain refused to process what she had just said. The princess lowered her hand but continued watching him as if she had made the most normal request in the universe. Evan felt the air leave his chest. He tried to speak, anything, even one word, but his mouth would not move. Every officer waited for someone else to respond, but no one dared correct alien royalty. At last, the ambassador stepped forward, voice shaking slightly. "Your Highness, surely there is some misunderstanding. He is just an engineer." Princess Sereth shook her head slowly. "There is no misunderstanding." Her voice was calm, soft, but firm. She explained with simple honesty that the Virathi choose partners not by status or appearance, but by energy resonance. Her life force was weakening due to a rare illness that affected only royal bloodlines, and she required a partner whose energy could stabilize hers. Virathi scientists had detected a matching signature the moment she stepped onto the station. The source, she said, was Evan. Evan blinked rapidly. Me? He finally whispered, pointing at himself. Her eyes softened for a moment like light warming snow. Yes, you. Murmurs spread like wildfire across the hall. Humans had always believed the Virathi were emotionless, but the princess's tone carried something gentle, something that suggested deeper reasons than survival alone. She continued speaking, her words surprising everyone. She said Evan's energy was unusually steady, strong in a quiet way, like a foundation stone shaped by time rather than force. She sensed courage, honesty, and resilience in him, traits her people admired but rarely found among themselves. Evan was overwhelmed. He wasn't brave, he wasn't special, he just fixed machines. Surely the princess was mistaken, but she wasn't guessing. Her people had spent centuries perfecting their energy-reading abilities. If she said his resonance matched hers, she believed it completely. Officers gathered around in a panic. Some argued this could lead to a stronger relationship between humans and the Virathi. Others warned this was dangerous. After all, no human had ever joined Virathi royalty. Their traditions were ancient and strict. Their culture was guarded. If humans offended them, peace could break easily. Before Evan could understand what was happening, assistants from the royal ship approached him. They were tall, ghost-like beings with shimmering cloaks. Their presence made the room colder. They bowed slightly to the princess and then turned to Evan. "Please come with us," one said gently. "Your presence is requested on the royal ship." Requested, as if he had a choice. Evan felt many pairs of human eyes watching him, some full of fear, others full of curiosity. He looked back at the princess, hoping she would explain more. She simply gave a small nod, a gesture that seemed to say she understood his confusion but would not retract her choice. Evan hesitated. "Your Highness." "Why me?" "Really?" Her answer came without a moment of doubt. "Because you have something my people lack. Your spirit is steady, your heart is calm, and your energy resonates with mine." Evan wanted to argue, but he couldn't find the words. The assistants guided him toward the exit gently but firmly. Evan looked over his shoulder one last time, hoping someone would stop this. But every human officer was frozen, unsure whether to interfere or let history unfold. As the royal ship's door closed behind him, Evan felt reality slipping away. The hallway inside was made of glowing material that pulsed like the inside of a living creature. Soft lights moved along the walls, adjusting to his presence. The air smelled faintly like warm metal and distant storms. Everything felt alien, unfamiliar, and strangely beautiful. Evan's heart raced. He kept telling himself this had to be a mistake. He was just a normal human. He wasn't warrior material, he wasn't diplomat material, and he definitely wasn't husband material for an alien princess. But the Virathi ship accepted him anyway. Its walls shifted to create a comfortable temperature for him. Passageways formed as he walked, as if the ship itself was curious about him. He was guided into a quiet chamber with a smooth silver floor. The ceiling glowed softly, like a sunrise caught inside crystal. Princess Sarith entered after a few moments, her presence calming but powerful. The attendants bowed and left the room, leaving Evan alone with her. The princess moved closer, observing him with a thoughtful expression. "I apologize for the suddenness," she said softly. "I know this must be overwhelming." "That's one word for it," Evan said awkwardly. A small hint of a smile appeared on her face. It was the first sign of emotion she had shown since arriving. She explained more about her condition. Royal Virathi bloodlines carried strong energy, but sometimes the current inside them weakened unexpectedly. When that happened, they needed a partner whose aura could connect with theirs. Without such a bond, they risked losing strength, their role, or even their future leadership. Her advisors had pressured her to choose someone from their own kind, but none matched her resonance. Then she stepped onto the human station and felt Evan's presence immediately. Evan listened carefully, still unsure. "But why say husband so fast? We just met." Her eyes lowered slightly. "In my culture, the word does not only mean marriage. It refers to a life bond partner, someone who shares energy and responsibility. I understand your meaning is different, and I do not force that role upon you. If you wish to refuse, you may, once the council evaluates our bond." That gave him a tiny breath of relief. It wasn't a cage, not yet. "But why me?" Evan asked again, his voice quieter this time. She answered just as quietly. "Because your energy felt warm, safe, and I have not felt safe in a long time." Her honesty surprised him more than her earlier declaration. He remembered how everyone on the station looked at her, like she was perfect, untouchable, powerful beyond measure. But here, in this silent chamber, she seemed almost human. A person carrying heavy burdens behind calm eyes. Evan didn't know what the future held. He didn't know whether the council would accept him or reject him. He didn't know whether he would return to the station or stay on this alien ship. But in that moment, seeing the princess not as royalty but as someone trying to survive, he felt a small shift inside him. Maybe this wasn't just a mistake. Maybe it was something he was meant to face. The ship hummed softly around them, as if acknowledging the new beginning forming between two. Evan woke slowly, unsure if he was dreaming or still inside the alien vessel. The room around him glowed softly with pale blue light, shifting gently like waves under glass. The ceiling shimmered as if filled with tiny stars. For a moment he forgot where he was. Then memories rushed back, the princess pointing at him, her calm voice saying she wanted him as her husband, the stunned hall, the silent attendants guiding him into this strange ship. Everything had changed so quickly that his mind struggled to catch up. He sat up and looked around. The bed wasn't really a bed. It was a smooth, warm platform shaped perfectly to his body. There were no sharp corners, no hard metal edges like human stations. The room seemed alive. Even the walls responded when he placed his hand against them, brightening slightly at his touch. He wondered if this ship judged him. Maybe it could sense he didn't belong here. Before he could think too deeply, the door slid open without sound. A tall Virathi attendant entered, gliding, not walking. Their cloak moved like mist around their form. The attendant bowed gently. "Good morning, human Evan," they said in a soft voice. "Her Highness requests your presence." Evan swallowed hard. He felt nervous, though the attendant's calm tone made it a little easier. He stood and followed them through curved hallways that shifted shape as they walked, opening new passages and closing old ones. The ship was like a living maze, but it felt gentle, not threatening. They reached a large chamber with transparent walls. Outside, the stars drifted slowly past. The red-glow planet below cast warm light through the room, giving everything a deep crimson tint. Princess Sareth stood near the center, her hands behind her back, her posture graceful as always. She turned when she sensed Evan's presence, and her eyes softened slightly. "You rested well?" she asked. Evan nodded, trying to look composed. "The room, it changes shape. It reacts to me. It adapts to your comfort," she explained. "The ship recognizes your energy now. You are not a prisoner. You are a guest." Her words eased some tension from his shoulders. Still, she was a princess from a powerful empire, and he was just a human engineer with no special qualities beyond a strange energy signature he didn't understand. Sareth walked closer, keeping a respectful distance. She moved with a quiet elegance that made every gesture look practiced, but her expression carried something gentler than formality, something curious, maybe even hopeful. "I want to teach you about my people," she said. "You deserve to understand the world you have stepped into." Evan agreed. He had too many questions. Why him? What did energy resonance really mean? What did the Virathi expect from someone chosen as a partner? She guided him through the ship, allowing him to see more of its inner workings. Every part seemed alive. Workers moved gracefully, communicating with soft hand gestures. Machines hummed with warm energy instead of cold metal vibrations. Holograms floated across walls, showing star charts, data streams, and glowing patterns that shifted like living art. "These are energy currents," Sareth said, stopping near a floating hologram. "They reflect the strength of the ship and the crew. Every Virathi's presence affects them, including yours." Evan blinked. "Mine?" She nodded. "Your energy is steady, like a heartbeat that doesn't fear the storm. It has already brought balance to parts of the ship." Evan tried to understand. Energy resonance still felt like magic to him, but her explanation was patient. She showed him readings on a holographic panel, curves and colors that represented energy flows. The lines near her profile looked unstable, sharp, uneven, but near Evan's reading, the colors blended smoothly. "You see?" she said softly. "With you nearby, my energy becomes calm." Her honesty, spoken in such a simple voice, made Evan pause. He wasn't used to being important. He wasn't used to anyone needing him beyond basic engineering repairs. Now, he was affecting the energy of a princess, someone respected, feared, and admired by an entire empire. "That's a lot of responsibility," he murmured. "It is not a burden I expect you to carry alone," she replied. "We are still strangers. I must earn your trust before asking anything more." Her words surprised him. He expected royal arrogance, but she showed none. Instead, she seemed almost cautious, as if she feared saying the wrong thing. It made her seem more real, less like the perfect figure everyone assumed her to be. They walked together through another long corridor. The ceiling sparkled with soft light, responding to Sareth's presence. Evan noticed that when she was near him, her steps looked smoother, her glow brighter. But sometimes her breath seemed slightly strained, like someone trying to hide exhaustion. He wondered how long she had suffered from her condition. Suddenly, a group of Virathi nobles appeared at the far end of the hall. Their clothes shimmered in dark colors, and their eyes glowed colder than Sareth's. They studied Evan with open curiosity and clear disapproval. One of them, a tall male noble with a sharp expression, stepped forward. "Your Highness," he said politely, though his voice held a hint of judgment, "is this the human you claimed?" Sareth's tone stayed calm. "Yes, his resonance matches mine." The noble's eyes narrowed as he examined Evan. "He looks fragile. Humans are not built for the demands of royal bonding. Surely there must be another explanation." "There is no other," she replied. The noble nodded stiffly but did not hide his dissatisfaction. "The council will need proof. Many will question this choice." Evan felt uncomfortable under their intense gaze, but Sareth stepped slightly in front of him, a subtle gesture of protection. The nobles continued down the hall without another word. When they were gone, Evan let out a breath he didn't realize he was holding. "They don't like me." "They do not understand you," Sareth corrected. "Our society values strength, control, and tradition. You bring something different, something quiet, but important." Evan wasn't sure if he believed that, but the way she said it made him feel strangely steady. Later, Sareth brought him to a large chamber filled with floating crystals. Each crystal pulsed with soft light. She explained that they stored emotional memories of past Virathi leaders. Evan watched as images flickered inside them: battles, celebrations, peaceful negotiations, tragedies, and triumphs. "My people hide our emotions," Sareth said. "We show calmness so we can lead without chaos." But that does not mean we feel nothing. Evan watched her face as she looked at the memories. For the first time, he saw real sadness in her eyes. It wasn't dramatic. It wasn't overwhelming. It was a quiet sadness, like someone carrying a burden alone for far too long. "You're lonely," Evan said softly, surprised the words left his mouth. Sareth turned toward him, her expression unreadable for a moment. "It is difficult to be royalty," she said carefully. "There are many rules, many expectations, very few choices." Her voice trembled only slightly. But Evan noticed. She quickly looked away as if ashamed to have shown emotion. He felt an unexpected urge to reassure her, though he didn't know how. He was not good with emotions. He wasn't even good with people. But he found himself saying, "I don't know much about your world, but I don't think you should have to face everything alone." She looked back at him, surprised. "You speak as if you understand isolation." Evan nodded. "I've lived most of my life in the background. People talk around me, not to me. I fix things. I help where I can. But I never really felt noticed." Sareth's eyes softened. "I noticed you." Her words were simple but powerful. He felt warmth in his chest, an emotion he wasn't sure how to describe. They walked again, this time slower. The ship dimmed its lights slightly as if giving them privacy. Sareth asked him questions, not about strength or politics, but about ordinary human things. "Why do humans enjoy music?" she asked. "It makes us feel connected," Evan replied. "Connected to what?" "To memories, to emotions, to each other." She considered this carefully, as if learning a new science. "Why do you laugh?" she asked another time. "Because some things make us happy." "And why does happiness matter?" "Because it gives life meaning," Evan said. "Even small moments." She nodded slowly, as if storing his answers inside her heart. Throughout the day, Sareth's energy readings grew steadier. The ship hummed more calmly around them. Attendants passing by glanced at Evan with curious surprise. They had never seen such immediate improvement in the princess. But there were also whispers. Some Virathi questioned whether a human could ever be a suitable partner. Others worried that traditions would break. A few feared change more than illness. Evan didn't understand their politics, but he understood tension, and he could tell that Sareth was under pressure. That night, Sareth brought him to a quiet balcony-like area where the stars seemed close enough to touch. The planet below glowed deep red, its atmosphere swirling like painted smoke. Evan leaned on the railing and looked out. "It's beautiful," he said. Sareth stood beside him, her robe glowing softly. "When I was a child," she said, "I dreamed of exploring beyond my duties. I wanted to see human worlds, their art, their songs, their stories, but I was trained for leadership instead." "And now you're here," Evan said gently. "Facing a future you didn't expect." She turned toward him. "Yes, but you are facing the same." They stood quietly for a moment, the stars reflected in her silver eyes. Evan felt safe beside her, which surprised him. He never expected to feel safe near someone so powerful. She spoke softly. "Evan, I know this is overwhelming. I know you are unsure, but I want you to understand something clearly. I did not choose you lightly. I sensed your energy the moment I stepped on the station. It felt warm, like light after a long winter." He looked at her, meeting her calm gaze. "And I believe," she added gently, "that fate brought us together for a reason." Evan didn't know if he believed in fate, but when he looked at her, standing strong yet quietly vulnerable under the stars, he felt something shift inside his heart again. Maybe this path wasn't an accident. Maybe he was meant to be here. He didn't know what would come next, the trials, the council, the pressure, the unknown future. But he knew one thing. He wanted to understand her. He wanted to help her. And he no longer felt as alone as he had on the station. The night passed quietly, with two different souls standing side by side, no longer strangers, not yet partners, but moving slowly towards something neither fully understood. The beginning of a bond that would change both their worlds.